Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and very soon we will be heading in towards another one of our Sale-A-Bration periods. So this starts on the 4th of January and will end on the 28th of February 22. I can't show you the inside now, but there's lots of little sneak peeks along the bottom there, and this is the pack of paper that I am using today. It is called Sunshine and Rainbows, and has lots of lovely bright colours in it and some of our more subtle colours as well. So as you might guess, you've got sunshines and you've got rainbows, all sorts of different patterns. 6x6 paper pack. Love the Granny Apple Green, one of my favourites. Some lovely clouds. It's cute. I think that was Blushing Bride. Let me just bring that back in. Bermuda Bee, blah, 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 blah. Petal Pink it is. I always get those confused. Petal Pink, that one is. Ooh, lovely. Big, bold, bright stripes. And cute little hearts on the other side. Some triangles and crosses. Very thin stripes. Ooh, that's nice. Like that. I'm going to be using that one today, and it has really bold stripes and those dots. Lovely patterns on all of this paper. Ooh, I like the squiggles. And more rainbows, which will combine with one of the stamp sets in the and die sets up in the upcoming catalogue, and that's soft sea foam. Got there. Stripes. And oh, that makes my eyes go fuzzy. Yeah, I can't quite focus on that one. More rainbows, clouds. Gorgeous sunshine on that. It's quite small, but beautiful. So yeah, really bold, fun pack of designer series paper. So even if you don't like the set that this coordinates with, I'm sure you will adore the patterns in here. So useful for all sorts of occasions. And as I say, that pack of paper will be free with a qualifying spend of £45 before postage packaging in the Sale-A-Bration between 4th of January and the 28th of February. So, what have I done with it? I have used just one sheet of the designer series paper, in fact less than a sheet, to cover up this box, just kind of matchbox style. And then inside of that, I have taken some of the cotton paper that is just about to retire, and all I did was just rolled it up that way. So that's half a sheet, rolled it up like that, not too particularly, and then just chop strips off it, and then undid those strips so that I've got this kind of shredded paper, great for packaging, and inside a pen. I picked up a few of these pens that were in a supermarket actually, that had been heavily reduced, and I thought they would make nice little gifts. And of course, can't just give them like that, you've got to make a nice little box for them to go into. So I've just got a 1 inch deep and wide and just under 6 inches long, and then basically just a tube of your designer series paper to go over the top of that. And I've just added a little sentiment just because from the lovely You stamp set, and I just stamped it in a coordinating colour and cut it with the double oval punch. So super easy to do. And because my pen is sort of just under the 6 inches, well, that's a piece of 6-inch paper, and was getting close to an inch. It was over the 3/4, and I thought it was easier just to do an inch box, and then I could add that shredded paper in there. I've got a little bit of ribbon and a brad there. The brad is just for show really, but it does make it look like a nice little tassel there to pull the drawer out. I've covered up the ends of the ribbon with a piece of card in there, so I will do the same again but with a different colour. This time I am going to use this design of the paper and combine that with Magenta Madness. And this piece of card measures 3 inches by 7 7/8, so that's just under 8 inches for that. And bring in my scored, Simply Scored, and I just want to score that at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Nice and easy, and that will help us get our 1 inch by just under 6 inches tray for the pen. Bring in my bone folder and just burnish those like so. Okay, now because these are all 1 inch, I don't want to cut them so that they stick to the ends as I probably normally would do. I want to cut them so that when I fold them up they stick to that bit there. Okay, so that means that, where are my snips? I'm hiding them from myself because I used them earlier. So I want to cut straight up there, and then that way that will fold there. So often when I do my boxes I'll alternate where I cut. I don't want to do that this time. I want to do straight up there and straight up there, and again there. So all 4 tabs will go onto the long side of that tray. Super easy. I'm going to just wedge these in a little just to make it a little bit neater, but that's all. So don't do anything with the sides, just those little tabs. Just take a little slither off to help them fold in a little bit easier, and you've not got so much bulk in your corners. Okay, so lots of little slithers I can tidy up later. Okay, so those 4 tabs just need to be glued in there. Oops. So a little bit of glue, fold that around, get that a nice neat edge, hold it in place for a moment, and then just work your way around. Add some glue, fold it up, line it up nice and neatly, hold it in place. That one's moved a little, not to matter. Just take your time, unlike me. Just and last one. little bit of glue and hold that in place for a moment. Okay, so we've got our little tray that is ready for our pen. Fits in nicely, but before we do that, I am going to do the ribbon pull, and you can choose which end you want to do that from. And I'm just putting a hole, any hole punch you've got, just there. And I've got one of our round and square brads. You get them in black and white, so you've got the square ones that are quite large, black and white, and you've also got these tiny little round ones, again in black and white. I have no idea how many are in there, absolutely loads, I think 200. So yeah, get loads to play around with, which have been great for the Give It a Whirl dies. Been loving that. So a length of ribbon, I did it longer than that. There isn't ribbon scissors, but I'll just break my own rules for a moment and pop that through there. Okay, and as I say, I've got a little bit of card I'm going to put in there, or I should have a little bit of card I'm going to put in there. I've forgotten to cut that, so I'll just pop that brad in there for now and then open out the legs of it and try and catch the ribbon underneath the leg there, so it gives it a little bit extra. Here's the ribbon scissors. It's holding that a little bit as well. Okay, so the brad just stops. Well, to be honest, it is just decorative, but it does have a little bit of function. Putting a piece of card over that will solve any issues with it coming out. So bear with me a moment while I go and cut another little piece of card. Okay, so I found a little scrap of card, so I've just cut off a little bit of that. You want it to be a maximum of 7/8 square and probably a minimum of 3/4, so that you're covering up that ribbon piece and the brad, but not being too wide so that it'll actually show. So that will take a moment to set. So as I said, this is the design that I am going to use, and it's 6 by 6. This is just short of 6 inches in length. There we go, that's set now, not too noticeable. So that will just, it's just ever so slightly longer than the box. So if you have it exactly the same, then it sometimes shows the edge. So I've just cut that slightly smaller, and it's still big enough to put my pen in. So got my, in fact I'll do that later because that'll probably fall all over the place. So what I'm going to do is score this just to get myself started, and I'm going to score that at 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And with this type of box, what I find best to do is do a score line to get yourself started, and then just put it in place and then pinch it at the top of your box, fold it over, line up those edges. Okay, that's important. You want it to be straight, and then you can just crease that. Okay, so we've got that side and that side done now. I want to just hold that in place and then pinch it there, making sure that it's fairly straight. And I'm just going to pinch it at that bottom one there as well, so I can do them both. So first one, lining up those edges there, that's where I pinched it. Just bring that down, that's where I pinched it, fold it over at that bit, lining it up along that top edge there, oops, along that top edge, holding it in place, and then just running my bone folder down. Okay, so I want to cut that down so that there's a little overhang on the bottom there. So I want that to be at sorry, not that. I want it to be a bit there, so I want that to be under an inch between that score line there. So do 3/4, so that will take my piece to 4.5 inches. Okay, so that piece 6 inches by 4.5, so I've got that overlap on the bottom. Okay, so tearing tape is your friend for this, and just run it along that bottom edge there. Bring your box back together again. I take that off. Like that. Fold that round and then just line up your edges before you press that down, like so. And it won't be entirely square perhaps. Then you can pull that out, pop in your shredded paper and your little gift, in this case a pen. Sliding that along will help keep most of that paper in there, and if you've got a stray bit that's really annoying you, you just chop it off. And pop it in, use your scissors, just put them back there. So there you go, one nice neat little box. And I've already gone ahead and stamped the sentiment, did it twice because it didn't stamp very well the first time. And I just used my ink pad to add a little bit of the ink around the outside of it as well, just so that it steps out a little bit. So there you go, nice and easy drawer style pen holder that will take a nice novelty pen that's got quite a wide top like my one has. And just see if I can pop that back in there. There we go. Oh, and I forgot on that one, I added some of the opal rounds. So let me just do the same. Take a pick tool Add a couple more of those. I just thought they looked quite like raindrops. That goes with the Sunshine and Rainbows theme. There we go. 2 neat little pen boxes ready to gift just because. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you've got time, that'd be fabulous. And if you want the measurements and some of the products that I have used, excluding that paper, because I can't give you a link to that just yet, click on the description bar below. You'll get a link to my blog post and also a link to my online Stampin' Up shop. Until the next time, take care. Bye bye.